Check 1 2. Check check. All right. See if we got everything in order here. Perfect. We are live. Making sure. Okay, so we are starting out doing a Proliferate deck. This is one of the few decks I've not built yet. This new Ezuri Stalker Spheres seems pretty good. I've seen a few gameplay videos on them. When Ezuri Stalker Spheres enters the battlefield, you may pay 3. If you do, proliferate twice. When you proliferate, draw a card. So his ETB is going to give you proliferation. So we might want to get some flickers in there. And then every time you proliferate, draw a card. So first thing I do every time I am building a deck, I go to edhrec.com. I can put that in the description. The specific one I'm going to. And then type in Ezuri, edhrec. And they're going to give you... Oh, they gave me the wrong one. They're going to give you all the cards that other people are playing with him. Or anything that just has to do with his general theme. Alright, Stalker of Spheres. There's not a lot on him right now. That's okay. Let's take a look at some other Mox fields. And see what other people got going on. So the other thing I do is I'll check out other people's Mox fields. So www.moxfield.com. Type in the commander's name and see what pops up. Literally one deck. That's insane. That's brand new. Still technically illegal. People are probably trying to mess around with them, but hey, that's why we're here to build it. There's another one. Ezuri Infect. So that's one way we can go is poison counters. I kind of like the idea of Toxic. I'm not a fan of Infect, but I do like Toxic. Putting Toxic on multiple players and then going Infect after that. So let's see. Let's start with our staples. We're going to want our Rhystic Studies. Get our land base going. Everyone starts with a good command tower. Of course, islands and forests. Really, with the depending on what level you are building him. I want to try for mid high. I don't want to go too high powered. These are obviously great colors, so you could probably go pretty high with them. But as far as your land base goes, let's put a breeding pool in there. Let's put a Karn's Bastion. That's going to be a good one. What's up, buddy?
Can I just watch something?
Sure.
Alright.
What do you want to watch?
Oh, I just want to watch on your... Oh, guys. Because mine and yours are dead, but I charged yours, though. Okay?
Okay, thank you, buddy. Here, you can watch on my phone. All right? Welcome. What do you want to watch?
Anything.
Alright, we'll just put in Minecraft and you can watch that, alright? Alright. Hey, close the door, please. Alright. Sorry about that. So yeah, proliferate, we're going to want that, obviously. Yeah, let's do that one. Let's go ahead and put in no Jinhar progress. So just breeding pool, command tower, islands, forest, Karn's bastion, form proliferate, pretty strong because technically that's 4 proliferate and draw a card. No one's heart of progress. So when I'm starting my build, usually I want to either pick a theme or I want to pick a win condition. So if there's a cool win condition that I want, then that's always a fun way to start. But the theme here, obviously, yeah, we can do that one. Obviously, it's proliferate. I think a cool win condition would be to give everyone a poison counter. Try to kill everyone with poison at the same time. I think that's going to be what I want to try and do. Let's go with Oran Reef. We didn't put that one in yet, did we? If I could spell. Oran Reef the Vastwood. So we're also going to, our secondary win condition, because you always want to back up just in case someone has an answer, is make some creatures, put some 1/1 counters on them, and go big. I think bringing in some planeswalkers, a little bit of super friends would be good. So super friends with that create tokens, put 1/1 counters on the tokens. That could be a fun way to do it. So yeah, Nisa voices Zendikar. She would be excellent. So this is a good. Boom. Nisa voices Zendikar. Here we go. So her +1, put a 0 green plant creature token. Make a 0/1, make it big. Every time you proliferate, gives it +1/+1. -2, put a 1/1 counter on each creature. The big thing you want whenever you're doing some sort of proliferate deck, if you're doing planeswalkers and super friends, is check out their ultimate, because you're going to be able to you might actually get to their ultimate. You gain X life, draw X cards, where X is the number of lands you control for her -7. Yeah, that's a good one. Let's see. We can put in our counter spells later. That's really what you do with your counter spells, I think, tells you what you're going to do as far as your power level. Displacer Kitten is a must in this deck. So yeah, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent, you gain control of them. And then, permanent you control, then return the card on the battlefield under its owner's control. So you just flicker. Just flicker, flicker, flicker. Hey, look at that. Our short is doing well. 1,400 views already. Nice. That was less than an hour. And a subscription. Flicker. So we are doing all right. Good stuff. Okay, let's take a look. What else we need? How much do we want to lean into the creatures, and how much do we want to lean into the poison counters? Evolution Sage will be good either way. I'll just throw her in there. So I'm gonna throw in basically any card that goes with our theme. and then we'll edit down later. So a lot of times, and a lot of people don't do this, but a lot of times I'll throw in 150 cards and then gradually narrow it down. A good way to narrow down the amount of cards that you have is playing through it. It's called goldfishing. Goldfish through it. And when you get the card in your hand and you don't like it, you don't feel excited about it, toss it. Even if it goes great with the deck, it works, just toss it. All right, what else we got? Go to our enchantments. I know Hardened Scales it's gonna have to happen. How does Hardened Scales work with Proliferate? That's a good question. Choose any number of permanents and or players, then give each another counter of the kind. So you're giving a counter. Hardened Scales is going to, if you put a 1/1 counter, put on a creature, that many plus 1/1. Yeah. So Hardened Scales just works with 1/1 counters, but when you proliferate, you do put another 1/1 counter. We're going to want Doubling Season because it does any counter. Really cool thing about Doubling Season with Super Friends, with your Planeswalkers, is that it's any kind of counter. So it's a big difference there. Simic Ascendancies, that's a fun way to win. I don't know if we'd be able to get to it in this deck, but I have one this way. So 3 mana, 1 green blue, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, and then whenever one or more 1/1 counters are put on creature you control, put that many growth counters on Simic Ascendancy. So that's going to be like, you're going to be getting double out of that. So you're going to be putting a 1/1 counter on a creature, proliferating it, puts another one on, which will then, put 2 on Simic Ascendancy. Yeah, that's a good one. Let's go with Inexorable Tide. I wish we could actually do... If we had white, I would love to do Enchantress Proliferate, but that would be more Atraxa, and everyone does Atraxa. I don't want to do Atraxa. Everyone does Atraxa. Everyone does Atraxa. You know what, let's change this up here. Big one. You are correct. Not turn 2, but Triskelion does the same thing with Heliod. Yes. One, two. Sorry about that. Commenting to my people on my channels. I just put up a short about... it's doing really well, actually. About a turn 2 win with Heliod, which is kind of fun. I like it because it's more than one piece. I'm not a big fan of 2-card combos, but a turn 2 combo with 4 pieces, even though one's in your command zone, is pretty nice. Okay. All right, let's go through some creatures. Cankerbloom, that's a new one. Yeah, you know what? I like Cankerbloom. a lot of people have been kind of crapping on this card, but I really like it. So check this card out. This is one of the new ones. Canker Bloom. 1 in green. Easy to get to. Phyrexian Fungus. Pay 1, sacrifice them, choose destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, or proliferate. I mean, this has a ton of flexibility. It also, in these colors, is easy to copy. So if you're running in any kind of clone deck, you can really use it for removal and proliferate. It's a nice card. I think I'm also going to throw in my Essex deck for that very reason. Let's put Eternal Witness in here. It doesn't go with the theme, but it's just always a good card. Yeah, Fathom Mage, that's a good one. So we're going to be able to create some really cool engines with this deck. And draw a ton of cards. And Fathom Mage is one of those pieces. So evolve whenever a 1/1 counter is put on Fathom Mage, you may draw a card. So if you proliferate, every time you proliferate that, so she's a 1/1. And you bring in Canker Bloom. Now she gets a 1/1 counter, you draw a card, you draw. Yeah, she's a 4. I don't like putting a lot of 4-drops in here. If our commander's 4, but anyway, yeah, drop Ezuri. Now you're proliferating twice, putting another 1/1 and another 1/1. You're drawing 2 more cards. If you have Hardened Scales out there, you're getting a 1/1 counter for each time you're putting a 1/1 counter on her. So instead of drawing those 4 cards, now you're drawing 8 cards. I mean, that's pure value, man. It's good. It's really good. Evolve is not a bad, would not be a bad thing to lean into either. Evolving Adaptive. Let's take a check. Take a look at this. Oil counters. That's interesting. So I've seen this in limited, but I have not played with it yet. All right, evolving adaptive. So please let me know the 2 people in here. Thanks for coming in, Chris. It's good to see you, man. Good to see you, man. Just trying out some streaming. It did well with my D&D channel, and I'm going to try it out here. All right, Evolving Adaptive enters the battlefield with an oil counter on it. Evolving Adaptive gets +1/+1 for each oil counter on it. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, if that creature has greater power, kind of like Evolve, or toughness, then Evolving Adaptive put an oil counter on it. So this is a little different. Man, I hope you're able to make it. It's a little bit of a drive. Not as close as my place, but we should have a decent amount of people there. So if you want to try out some non-CEDH, then that's the way to go. Just dropped another short too, man. It's actually doing pretty well. Let's take a look at it. 1,600 in the first hour. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Dude, Saturday at 11s, man. That's the time to drop them. 2 subscriptions off of it. I'll take it. I will take it. But I figured as much as I'm building decks these days, might as well stream some, see if anyone else wants to jump in. And Ezuri seems like a lot of fun. Have you done anything with this Ezuri Stalker of Spheres yet? Boom, 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 boom. All right. Let's see, where were we at? Fertilid, always a good. Yeah, this is gonna do some work here. Let's see. I've had a bunch of these cards forever, and I've just never built around them. I've always kind of set them aside. So Fertilid enters the battlefield with 2 1/1 counters on it. One in a green, remove it. Or remove a 1/1 counter from Fertilid. Target player searches their library for a basic land card, puts on the battlefield tap. This is just, I mean, ramp of growth on a stick, man. This is going to be really, really good, especially because we have some landfall. We're going to have some landfall synergy in here anyway. I think we put one in already. Yeah. So with Fertilid, every 2 mana, you're going to go put a basic land onto the battlefield tapped, and then that's going to trigger Evolution Sage, which is going to give you your 1/1 counter back. And if you have 2 mana, you can drop it again. So those two are going to be beautiful together. Gyre Sage, this is a big one. Alright. Another Evolve 1/2 for 2 mana. Add a forest for each 1/1 counter on Gyre Sage. So again, every time you proliferate, you're basically earning yourself an extra forest. I've not looked at oil counters yet. That's an interesting mechanic. So Mercurial Spell Dancer, I don't know. Yeah, let's throw it in here. I don't know how many instances and sorceries we're going to be messing with. But hey, let's check it out. So Spell Dancer, 2 mana. So I like that. I like that on the curve. Can't be blocked, which is nice, especially if you can get. There's some enchantments that we can put on her that give her 1/1 counters. You could really do some damage with that. When you cast non-creature spell, put an oil counter on Mercurial Spell Dancer, and then when she deals combat damage to a player, you may remove 2 oil counters from her. If you do, when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So we really won't know how good this is until we actually look at our instants and sorceries. So let's keep that in mind. Yeah, Flux Channeler I want to put in here, but we will see. This does work in Niv Mizzix. Does a ton of work in that deck, so I already like it, but we'll see. Oh, Merfolk Skydiver. Okay, so this one. Here's what's nice about this. All right, Merfolk Skydiver. Another 2 mana spell, which I like, and she has Proliferate on the body for 5, which is an awesome value. But in these colors, you're gonna have some mana. I think it might come in handy. Just Proliferate when you want. When she enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. You put this on Mercurial Spell Dancer, and now you make her huge, and she's unblockable. Get in for that unblockable damage is always nice. Always nice. All right, man. I appreciate the input. Sorry, I'm just not getting to it. Yeah, you like how Simic has this direction now. You think too much? Yeah, it's too much setup for Spell Dancer. Probably, but that unblockable's nice. So I'm with you. I'm probably cutting it, but I'm gonna throw them all in there and see what happens. Sweet. Alright, let's see what else we got. Yeah, and if anyone has any suggestions, please throw them out. I'm all ears. Again, this is one of the few mechanics I haven't messed around with too much. I've been playing for 15 years, and Proliferate's one I've been just always liked the idea of, just never built. Yeah, Park Heights Maverick, that has some evasion too. Phantasmal is always good. Yeah, that's Per and Toothy. That's one or more counters will be put on a permanent you to control that many +1. Yeah, I think that's kind of an auto include, but we'll see. So per Imaginative Rascal. And Toothy. Alright, so per partner with Toothy, so that's nice. If one or more counters we put on a permanent you control or your team controls, that many +1 of those counters are put on instead, which is amazing. And then whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter. That works really well. Because if you proliferate, you draw a card. Proliferate's already putting a counter on. Then whenever you draw the card, you put another counter. When Toothy leaves the battlefield, draw a card for each 1/1 counter on it. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah. Here's another card I've had for a long time that I actually haven't put into a deck yet. Royalesque Apex Hybrid. Let's do it. 5 mana, so it's I like the curve. Flying Trample 4/5. When it enters the battlefield, put 2 1/1 counters on another target creature you control. And then, so it does have to be a different creature. And then whenever it dies, proliferate, then proliferate again. So when it dies, you're drawing 2 cards as long as Ezuri's out there. When we cast spell, target Sage, put a 1/1 counter on it. I don't. See, Sage of Hours would be good if we had a lot of enchantments. We'll take a look at the spells and stuff. Spark Double. Spark Double's good. Spark Double's good here. It's already a good card. I don't like to put, like, Spark Double you could really shoehorn into any deck and it'd be fine. Just because it's going to copy a creature or planeswalker, and copying creatures and planeswalkers is solid no matter what. But that 1/1 counter on it is going to be really nice. All right, now we're getting into Tainted Observer. This is where we want to be. Tainted Observer, flying 2/3 toxic 1. So just getting that 1 toxic in. That flying is nice. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may too if you do proliferate. Yeah, that's good. That's what we want to see. Yeah, then Techathol, I think you have to here. I think we need more creatures with Toxic, though. There's also some spells that give Toxic that we need to put in here, because that's just guaranteed. If you proliferate twice. So if you draw an extra cards. Not that Simic needed help drawing cards, but remove 3 counters among artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers you control. Put an indestructible counter. So this just keeps it around. It's flying. It's a good card. I mean, Throwing Bird, I think, needs to go in here. I think think we need a little more focus on toxic. So, Venerated Rot Priest. There is actually a good 3-card combo with Venerated Rot Priest that I did a video on. I don't remember it off the top of my head what the other 2 cards were. So we need to throw them in here. I need to go watch that real quick. Whenever creature control becomes 1/2 toxic 1, you can, if you get it out turn 1, you should be able to get through. Whenever creature you control becomes a target of a spell, target opponent gets a poison counter. So if they Doomblade something of yours, poison counter, it kind of makes them not want to exile. So Swords of Plowshares, whatever your stuff, your creatures. I think it's good on multiple levels. Venomous Brutalizer for a 4-drop. It does Toxic 3 and Proliferate, but I don't think I'm going to throw it in here. So it's a 4-mana card. I don't like, again, I'm trying to stay away from the 4-mana curve. Enters the battlefield, you may pay 2. So for 6 mana, it proliferates. I think that's too much. Contingent's Plan, 2 mana to proliferate and draw a card. I'll put it in here and check it out, but I don't know. I don't love it. Yeah. We'll do Cultivate and Rapid Growth. Yeah, we can do Nature's Lore. Yeah, we can do Neoform. It's an interesting... So, alright, Neoform is additional... So you got to sack a creature when you cast it. But search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sacrifice creatures. Converted mana cost, put that card on the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it. So this also triggers Venerated Rot Priest, which is nice. And it searches out one of the better creatures. I think that could be good. Stay more than 12. 2/2, return to proliferate, get 2. That's a lot for 7 mana. Yeah, let's do it. This could be a game ender. But we need more ways to give poison counters. So, plain white celebration. Choose 4. You may choose the same mode more than once. Creatures create a 2/2 citizen. Fine. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. That's solid. Gain for life is solid. But being able to proliferate 4 times, draw 4 cards, and if you have your opponents up to 6 poison counters, that's that could be a win right there. Rishkar's Expertise. I think this will be good. I think we're going to be able to get some decent sized creatures in here. So let's do Rishkar's Expertise. Draw a card equal to greatest power amongst creatures you control. Cast a spell from a spell mana 5 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. Tether's Gambit. I love this card. I'm putting it in here. Draw 2 cards, then proliferate. And you can pay for Phyrexian mana for it. So, it's on theme. Let's get to some counter spells. I already can't refuse. I just need to look up all the toxic cards. That went up in price. I bought like 10 of them when they were 50 cents because I figured that would go up in price. Cyclonic Rift. Staples. Staples. Alright. Creature control, then return to battlefield. Okay. Alright, this triggers a few things. I like it. I like it in here. So, Essence Flux. It targets, which can proliferate us, but exile target you control, then return the card on the battlefield under its owner's control. So again, give us a couple proliferates targeting our commander. Experimental Augury. I'm good with that one. This is one that's definitely in my Niv Mizzix deck. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, and the rest of the bottom of your library, and in any order, proliferate. What else we got? It's so bad, but I'm gonna put it in there. I'm a sucker for flavor. This really is. It's not awful, but I've been trying to build a CEDH deck lately, and so seeing these Fuel for the Cause, 2 and 2 blue, counter target spell, then proliferate. Seeing a 4 mana counter spell just kind of hurts my soul a little bit after building CEDH, because everything is 1 mana at most 2, and that's only for mana drain. So that hurts, but when you look at 4 mana, counter target spell, draw a card, not as bad. And then also you're proliferating, so you're putting a bunch of 1/1 counters and everything. Yeah, let's throw Heroic Intervention in there. That's just one of those staples. Why can't I spell? What did I do wrong? Oh, I do that every time. Heroic Intervention. Target creature. Okay, Infectious Bite. Target creature you control deals damage equals power to creature control. Each opponent gets a poison counter. Yeah, this is one of the new ones I like. This also Infectious BioUS. Infectious Bit. So, Infectious Bite is going to be creature removal because you're going to have big creatures. And then you're also going to give a poison counter, which is what we want. Inspiring Call Draw. Yeah, I love this card. Inspiring Call. Draw a card for each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it. Those creatures gain indestructible until end of turn. That's a good card. Exile target for each creature, then return to the battlefield under its own control with 1 counter on it. Yeah, Planner Incision. This is another card we're going to want to get into. Each opponent gets a poison counter, draw a card. Prologue of Pheresis. Prologue to Pheresis. Serum Snare. Turn target online permanent is 100 and the power in hand, mana value 3 or less, than Proliferate. I know it says Proliferate, but yeah, I don't care for that in Commander. Steady Progress, we can do that. Steady Progress, just 2 in a blue, proliferate, draw a card. No, I don't want that. Okay, let's get... Arcane Signet. Soul Ring. Yeah, I'll finally get to use this card. Astral Cornucopia. This one's been a minute. Alright, Astral Cornucopia. Just pay 1/1/1. Enters battlefield with X counter, so it's a 3 mana for 1. Choose a color, add 1 mana of that color for each charge counter. But when you proliferate, you're just able to add more and more mana, which is fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, Everflowing Chalice is an auto include. So 0, multi-kicker 2. So you pay 2, enter the battlefield with a charge counter on it for each time it's kicked. So you're getting at least 1. And add colorless for each counter on it. You keep up in the counters, so on and so forth. Is good. What's Sword of Hearth and Home? Sword of Truth and Justice, obviously. But doesn't Sword of Hearth and Home flicker? So Truth and Justice, 2/2, pro white, pro blue. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on a creature you control, then proliferate. And then this Sword and Hearth and Home. Creature gets 2/2 as protection from green and from white. Whenever creature deals combat damage to a player, exile up to 1 target creature, your commander. Then search for a library for a basic land. Yep. Yep. Ocelot is good. I think it's just okay. Alright. We want, let's say 33 lands? I don't know. Let's just do 32 for now. Alright. I'm trying to find some good toxic stuff. Did we put Bloated Contaminator in there yet? No, we didn't. Let's put Bloated Contaminator. All we want to do is get through once. So, Bloated Contaminator, 3 mana, 4/4 toxic, 1 and trample. Deals combat damage to a player. You put the toxic on and then proliferate. That's what we want. We got Kanker, we got Kitten, we got Witness, we got Sage, got Adapting, we got Fathom Mage, Fertilid, Flux, Gyre Sage, Jair Sage, whatever you want to call her. I know there's some colorless toxic out there too. Oh, we need to look at some good planeswalkers. That's what we need to do. Could 2 prime speaker? I don't know. Got that, got that. Bread for the Hunt would be fine. I don't think that's our main theme. So Fearless would be okay. Now let's just look at commanders that put 1/1 counters. I like Vivian, but she's way too expensive. All right. You know what? Let's look up Atraxa Super Friends. How about that? Atraxa Super Friends, and we will see. Yeah, track. Yeah, let's just look up Simic Super Friends. How about that? Yeah, because if we do put in some Super Friends, we definitely want to put in Ichor Gauntlet. I know there's some good Teferis out there, which would be good to get. Yeah, let's get the new Nisa. Nisa Ascended. Ascended, not Ascended. Well, thanks. That's not the printing I want. We'll select this one. One we can read. All right, so you put her in for 5 or 7. She's got removal on her. She's got token creation on her. But you're going to be able to hit that. Even if you put in for 5, you're going to be able to get up, proliferate up to that 7 or 8. And creatures you control get, until end of turn, creatures you control get +1/+1 for each forced and gain trample. Put bloated in there. Trying to look for, oh man, a lot of these planeswalkers are in that 4 mana slot, which I don't love. What up, kid? What you doing? What are some fun ultimates? What about Kiora? Let's do that. That just seems like fun. Kiora, the Crashing Wave. I own this card. I've not put it in a deck. Till next turn, prevent all damage that would be dealt to and by target permanent opponent controls. Really good against Voltrons. -1, draw a card. You may play additional land this turn. Not awful. But that -5, which won't be hard to get to, get an emblem with, at the beginning of your end step, put a 9/9 blue Kraken creature token on the battlefield. Just free Krakens, man. Free Krakens. Yeah, definitely throwing this dude in there. Deep Glow Skate. Enter the battlefield. Double the number of each kind of counter on any number of target permanents. So this won't... this won't help us with the poisons, but it'll help us with everything else. If you want to be a little degenerate, we can do Teferi Master of Time. Oh man, it's 12:30. I gotta wrap this up. Did that. I'll do another stream where we test this out. Colorless artifacts, spells cost 2 less to cast. You know what? We can throw the new Tamio in there. Or she's completed. Tamio's completion. Again, looking at that -7. Legendary colorless artifact token spells you cost 2 less to cast and draw a card. I always love Garruk. Garruk Primal Hunter. Maybe. Oh, what is the elf that you untap her put a -1 counter? Not that you'd want to proliferate the -1 counters, but if you're able to put a 1/1 counter on her, you can kind of use her like that. I won't be mean to do Narset or Jace. What do we got? 90 cards, man. We are slacking. I don't want to do that to my lands with Nisa. Yeah, it's really tough because there's not a ton of information out there yet. Let's go ahead and throw Ickerbloom Gauntlet in, because that Icker Moon Gauntlet, and because that just seems fun. Yeah, I didn't even think about Vorinclex. Vorinclex. Monstrous Raiders. Alright, 6 mana, Trample Haste. If you would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many. Then if an opponent would put 1 or more counters or permanent or players, they put half that many. Rounded down. So if someone tries to put 1 poison counter on you, it does not happen. And Ickerbloom did that. Gyre Sage. We can do Sakura Tribe Elder. Sakura Tribe Elder. Goes in a lot of decks. Yeah, Incubation Druid. Let's do that one. That's a solid pick. Forgotten Ancient. I know it's at 4. But whenever a player casts a spell, you may put a 1/1 counter on Forgotten Ancient. Beginning of upkeep, you may move any numbers 1/1 counters from Forgotten Ancient to another creature. Hello, you don't know? Well, why not? Figure it out. Figure it out. Birds of Paradise. Birds of Pair of Dice. Pollen Druid. 1/1 counter on target creature. Proliferate. Yeah, let's do Pollen Druid. Pollen Bright Druid. I wish you had more Toxic, man. No, we should get Mystical Tutor just for that. Mystical Tutor to search up which ones give toxic. He's going to be good for a bunch of them, but prologue to Pharesis. That's what we need. There's another card too that I know does it. I was playing it in limited and I can't think of the name. You know, we can do Chasm Skulker. That's our board wipe. That helps us with our board wipes. We'll do Guild Pact Informant. Do I want to put Viral Drake? I know it's Infect, but it basically does the same thing. Ooh, that's a good one. Rishgar. Pima Regenerate. Anything with a 1/1 counter on it taps for green manas. No, Seedborn Muse. You know, I will put Master Biomancer on there. We need something to proliferate. I don't like that it's in that 4 mana slot. Mana Gorger Hydra. That'll get big. We're 103, so we can actually start shaving down now. I need to throw in Deadeye. Deadeye Navigator. Throw in Croson Grip just in case. Yeah, you can throw in like Fierce Guardianship. You can throw in our Mana Crypt, all that stuff. That's all up to you and how high you want to do it. You know, cloning is an interesting thing. Instead of Flicker, just clone your commander, bounce it back. New one brings in the proliferation and still draws you cards. It's not a bad strategy. That's worth thinking about. Throwing in clones and cloning your commander. Because they're still going to hit. You're going to have to sacrifice one of them, but they're still going to hit. That would be interesting. Maybe throw more ramp in here. We got our card draw. So I don't think we need those. But yeah, like a Rite of Replication on Ezuri. No, because you'd have to pay 3 every time. That's the big thing, is you got to have that 3 open every time. I mean, you could throw Ezuri's Predation here just because of the flavor, but I don't think it'd be worth it. Other decks that make much better use out of that. I know I'm forgetting some things, but I have to go. Sylvan Library. Let's throw that in there. Again, I don't know if we need it. Mystic Remora for early card draw. Yeah, let's do it. It's just so good. Sylvan Library. Mystic Remora. This is just gonna get us early card draw going. Oh man. Let's see. What is the power of our 3/3? So that won't work. I mean, you could put Psychic Corrosion and try to mill some people out. I don't know. I'm going to throw both Garriks in here that I like. Garrick Wild Speaker. Tezzeret Artificer or Artifice Master. It's a good one. His, if you get to his -9, again, not too hard. Get Emblem with at the beginning of your end step, search your library for a permanent card, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. That's just really strong. What is the Teferi that gives you stuff when you draw cards? I don't want to go full on Super Friends, but I do want to get some decent ones. You know what? Let's put Jiang in there. Because you're going to keep refilling him, and he's going to give you some mana ramp. So, nope, wrong one. The other Jiang. The Wild Crafter. Yeah, we don't care about that one. Remove it. I don't see the other one. That's okay. I don't want to search through all the Teferis. We know it's not. Let's take a look. We know it's not Teferi Timeless. Yeah, look at all these. Teferi Master of Time? Or Mage. Ageless Insight. Let's just take a look. I already have him on there. So we know it's not him. Because we already have him. Was that a creature? Sure was. That's not what we want. That's okay. There's one that gives you a bunch. Let's look for it. Because that actually does deal with 1/1 counters. So it's not Master of Time. It's not Mage. Teferi's Insight. No. Alright, I'm going to have to look at this. Teferi Card Draw Commander. Let's just go to the Google. Card Draw Planeswalker. Images. It's one of the mono blue ones. Dude, that dude has so many. Holy crap. This dude has so many Planeswalkers. First ability is when, or top ability is when you draw a card. Put a loyalty counter. You know what? I have it in my coin deck. Your decks. Coin. Temporal Pilgrim. How come that didn't come up? Very. Alright, here we go. Teferi Temporal Pilgrim. When you draw a card, I actually have that printing. When you draw a card, put a loyalty counter on Teferi, and then his -2, you put a 2/2 spirit creature token. Doesn't have flying, but does have vigilance. Whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on it. So that's solid right there. But then the -12, target opponent draws. Target opponent chooses a permanent they control, returns to the owner's hand, and then they shuffle each land permanent they control into its owner's library. So it's pretty brutal for one person. Can really set back one person, but it's really easy to get to the 12, especially in a deck like this. Then when you throw in the ability, where's the artifacts? Ichor Gauntlet, where you can -12 take an extra turn. Really, really good setup there. Okay, I think that's it. You could mess around. I like keeping a lot of lands in there. I don't even want to put Yavimaya Cradle of Growth in there. I kind of like putting a lot of basic lands in this one just to do it and to be able to search them up over and over again. We can mess around. I'll mess around with mana and stuff later. Then we'll run it back. Okay, that's all. Thanks for the few of you that came in. If you go back and rewatch this, you got any suggestions, throw them in there. I'm going to finish the deck, run through it a few times, and then we'll do some gold fishing next time I get a chance to stream. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. Now it's time for lunch.